SFL, it is the Midnight Ride. Yes, back better than ever after a couple weeks. So obviously, I did lose the 2 weeks ago. Did win against Gee, two big wins against Gee, but still finished one spot in the playoffs. Too bad, so sad. Yeah, but you know what? Wasn't my year. I didn't have a lot of things working for me. Was second in point differential with 200 points more scored than against. My division was pretty even matched. I mean, almost all the divisions were except for the other two. But losing 4 out of the 6 games in the division, that didn't help. And then losing to basically all the worst teams and beating some of the better teams, probably not the best. Oh yeah, and then of course your quarterback breaks his ankle. Uh, you know that doesn't help us at all either. So, going forward, I've learned a lot of things this season. Number one, stop tinkering with your team so much. Will, too many trades. Maybe I won't trade anymore. Yeah, it's not gonna happen. Number two, all right. Never really disregard any of your opponents. I didn't think that Gary had a chance. Gary's in the playoffs. Holden's team looks terrible. Holden's team's in the playoffs. So, maybe you should just think about who you're putting down when you're getting to that level. So, those are the two things that I learned about. Number three, I learned about this season is shenanigans. I think Dylan really put that mantra on me. My team was so bad that I kept trying to make it better. And every time I tried to make it better, I made my team worse. So I blame that on Dylan. You suck. But as we go forward, the Midnight Ride, who still should keep his name after next week, we've got our fun edition, end of the year awards. We call it Midnightin' a Fool. All right, welcome to Midnightin' a Fool, second year of the awards. Let's get started with the awards. I really want to get started with the awards today. Worst game of the year. We've had a lot of them. There was a lot of teams that were out of balance, like myself and Dan Campbell. It was a 120-point win for me, biggest of the year as far as point differential. But the worst game of the year came in week one. That's right, Musk versus Priapism. And as you can see, it was a tight game, probably the tightest we've ever had. However, 143.6 won it that game, and it was pretty bad. That was the lowest winner of any of our weeks. Also, of course, Pre-Prism right there. Some people might say one of the tightest games. No. Worst game of the year. Any team that was actually losing actually beat these two teams in week one. So, terrible week. Worst game of the year goes to Musk and Pre-Prism. Okay. Worst pickup of the year. And this is based upon, of course, you got money that was owed. And, of course, what did they do? That goes to Magic School Bus with Billy Zappa. Now, I understand Zappa did play a little bit, and then he got kicked out, and then you made a trade. There's a lot of things that happened with this move, but Zappa is definitely the worst pickup of the year. That continues with showing some actual love. Because you know what? We're not all about hate here. We need some love. The best trade of the year is the one person that you wouldn't think had the best trade of the year. And it was because of the mental gymnastics that he did. He picked up CeeDee Lamb for Deontay Johnson and Marcus Mariota, then took CeeDee Lamb and made it into what has won him into, or made him into the playoffs. That is Christian McCaffrey. Who cares about all the other stuff that was put in this donkey show? Victor, you got screwed. You should have never lost Christian McCaffrey. You would be in the playoffs right now if you didn't do that. And I'm upset because I was this close to getting McCaffrey and did not want to give up a player. I'm not going to tell you who it was. It's really stupid. Just going to move on And we're going to go forward because I had a chance to make the playoffs. And that didn't happen because of that trade. So, good job, Holden. Now, back to the worst trade of the year. The worst trade of the year comes to our husband and wife. Because this trade is disgustingly bad. You had Zappe and Zach Wilson not playing. Curtis Samuel, which was the preem of this trade, for Gibson and Woods came on late. Gibson was good. Really not great. And then Duvernay, he keeps going in and out of people's lineups. So, pretty bad trade. I mean, Samuel was a good pickup, but probably the worst trade as far as value going back and forth between two parties. Worst trade of the year, Skullbus and Chalupa. And finally, the worst coach of the year. And I've got some nominees this year. The worst team in the league, Chalupa Batman. Worst coach of the year, possibility. Dan Campbell. Really, this is based upon the draft. Worst draft of the year, for sure. And then, of course, our man Kyle. Kyle had a terrible year only because he put all of his stock in Trey Lance, and Trey Lance pushed him away or brought him down. So, out of these three nominees, the winner of the worst coach of the year is... Oh, it's Midnight Ride. That's right. Why? Because I had an easy chance to make the playoffs. I think an 82% chance to make the playoffs. And it went to 0. That's right, 0 after 1 week because I could not beat Gary. That's the reason I'm not in the playoffs. Could not beat Gary. Worst coach of the year? This guy right here. That's right. Let's get to the outro. All right, worst coach of the year here. If I can't win at all, I got to win something. Worst coach of the year. Can't complain. Next year, that's right, I'm coming for that belt. So you better watch out, everyone. I'm not going to be tinkering. I'm not going to let shenanigans happen. And I'm not going to let people like Gary and other people, make me think that I got it. So this next year, it's Midnight's year. And guess what, SFL? It's getting close to the stroke of next year.